All right, so good afternoon. Again, I apologize that I'm not going to be able to be there during your eighth period, but y'all should be watching this video because this is exactly what we're doing in the Zoom today. So first of all, let's go to Schoology and I'll show y'all what we're doing today, what we're going to be talking about. So as y'all can see, we're going to be reviewing how to find slope and equations, mainly just how to find slope in all different kinds of relations. And then we're going to be looking at a good amount of graphs. Okay. And then again, this is all in preparation for our test tomorrow. Hopefully I remember that. Hopefully, yes, we take our test tomorrow. Hopefully I'll know that. Another big thing, tomorrow is a half day. So be sure to check y'all announcement for what time all your classes are. For us at eighth period, we're going to meet on Zoom tomorrow at 12:30. Okay. 12:30. Not 3:39 like you're watching the video today. At 12:30, that's what time I'm going to be on Zoom for eighth period, okay? And y'all need to be on because that's where I'm going to give y'all a little cheat sheet and last minute tips before y'all take the test, okay? So make sure y'all log on at 12:30 tomorrow. And I'll have it all posted right here, okay? If y'all slide down, y'all will see that today we have the daily quick question. Make sure y'all do that. And the Unit 3 test review day 2. So this is the quizzes. Like I said, I don't like to do the same things back-to-back days. But it's a real short quizzes. It's like 13, 14 questions. And it's very similar to the stuff we're doing today. Okay. Again, make sure you've done part 1. Like I said, part 1 it's the big one. That's the one that's very, very, very similar to what's on your test. So do both, obviously. But if you're going to spend more time studying, do the first one. Okay. But yeah, the first one is really good. So let's go to the board now. And as y'all can see, we have 3 different relations. So we have 2 points, a table, and a graph, okay? We are gonna find the slope from all 3 of these relations, and some of them will do a little extra stuff, okay? Now, none of this is new, right? This is actually pretty old stuff. This is stuff we did around like Thanksgiving time, okay? So it may have been a while. That's why we're gonna kind of refresh it, and that's why I'm making this video, so y'all can see it. So number 1, we're going to find the slope from 2 points. But if y'all look, it says rate of change. Okay. Hopefully y'all know this by now. Rate of change means the same thing as slope, the exact same thing. So if they ask you to find the rate of change, they're asking you to find the slope. Okay. So here we want to find the slope from -3.7 into -2. Okay. So hopefully y'all remember. In order to find the slope from 2 points, you want to use the formula. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? We use that formula a lot. It's not something you need to memorize, but it's something that I will give you on the cheat sheet tomorrow. So again, log on, 12:30 tomorrow. So when we use this formula, the first thing we need to do is label all of our points, right? I've said that many times before. So here I have -3.7. -3 is my first x. 7 is my first y, right? Next point, 2 is my second x. -2 is my second y, okay? So now I take those points and I plug them into my formula, okay? So y2, my y2 is -2, so I write -2 minus y1, which is 7, over x2, which is 2, minus x1, which is -3. Okay, y'all see how I did that last one? I put minus -3, not just 2 minus 3, minus a -3. It makes a difference, okay? It's going to throw off your whole answer if you don't do that. And then that's it. So from here, you can either type all of this into the calculator or you can just go line by line. I like to go line by line. It's pretty easy. So on the numerator, on the top, I have -2 minus 7. -2 minus 7, -9. Okay. On the denominator, I have 2 minus a -3. Okay. So when we have minus a negative, that's really a plus. So 2 plus 3, y'all know that. That is 5. So the slope between these 2 points is -9 over 5. Easy. Okay. And you will have one of these on your test. Maybe 2. I think it's 1. Okay. Number 2. So here we want to find the slope, that's the first part, from a table, right? And again, we've done this stuff. So to find slope from a table, we do change of y over change of x, okay? And all that is, remember, we just picked 2 points, okay? So I like to pick the positives. So I would pick these 2 on my y's. And if I use these 2 on my y's, remember, that means I need to use these 2 on my x's. We have to use the pairs, okay? So to find the change of y and x, you find the difference. So what do I do to go from 5 to 10, right? Well, to go from 5 to 10, I'm adding 5. So my change of y is a positive 5, okay? Now, my change of x from -1 to 0, how do I go from -1 to 0? Well, I add 1. So my change of x is 1. And then I do a little math, 5 divided by 1, that's 5. So the slope of this table is 5. Easy, okay? Next is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is really easy to find on a table, but it can get a little tricky, okay? So what we need to look for with the y-intercept is we need to find the point where our x value is 0, okay? So if you look at this table, we have 2 zeros. I have 1 here and 1 here, okay? But what I want is when the x value is 0. So I'm going to look in this column. So when my x value is 0, that's right here, my y value is 10. So this is my y-intercept, 0, 10, okay? So now that we have the slope, now that we have the y-intercept, we put it together to write the equation, okay? So my equation, we start with y equals, right? Because we want it in slope-intercept form. So we want it in y equals mx plus b. So I have y equals, now I need my m. Remember, m is slope. So here's my m, right? So it's 5. So y equals 5x plus b. B is the y-intercept. My y-intercept is 10. So y equals 5x plus 10, right? That's the equation for this table, right? And we got that just by finding the slope, finding the y-intercept, okay? Not too bad. Okay, so we did 2 points. We have a table. Finally, we're to the graphs, okay? So on this graphs, right, we have this purple graph here. I asked you a few more questions. So the first question I'm asking you is the type of slope. So I'm not asking what the slope is, I'm asking what the type is. So what I mean by that is the slope positive, negative, 0, undefined, right? Which one is it? So the way you can find it is by going left to right. So from left to right on this purple graph, I'm going up. Y'all see that? I'm increasing. My graph is going up. So that means this graph has a positive slope. Okay, so what that means is when I find my actual slope, like when I'm going to get the number needs to be a positive number since my slope is positive, right? If I had a negative slope, then my slope would need to be a negative number, right? It just makes sense, okay? So now that I have the type, I can find the actual slope. Now I can find the number. So to do that, remember when we find slope from a graph, we use rise over run, okay? Rise over run. So to use rise over run, we need 2 points, okay? So I have 1 point here. I already gave y'all 2. I have another point here, right? I have these 2 dots, okay? Sometimes you're going to be given the dots. Sometimes you're not. Here we are. So what I'm going to do is find my rise first. So I'm going to see how many units I go up from here to here, right? Because that's where my line is. So I'm going to go up 1, 2. So my rise is a positive 2. Okay, because I went up 2. And my run is going to be 1, 2, 3. So 2 over 3 is my slope, 2/3. That's it. That's all you do. Count up, count to the right. Okay. And if it was a negative slope, you would count down and then to the right. So it would be negative, whatever it was. Okay. Y-intercept, that's easy. Y'all should know how to do that. That's where my purple line crosses the y-axis. That's why it's called the y-intercept. Okay, so if y'all look, they cross right here at -2, okay? But we can't just say -2, right? We need the ordered pair. So remember, just like in the table, my x is still going to be 0, right? My x is always 0 in the y-intercept. and the value is -2. So 0, -2, that point right there is my y-intercept. And again, now that we have the slope, now that we have the y-intercept, we can put it all together and get an equation in slope-intercept form. So again, we start with y equals, instead of mx, I use my m, my slope, which is 2/3 x, and then plus b, so plus your y-intercept. My y-intercept is -2, so it's going to be y equals 2/3 x minus 2. So this is the equation for this purple graph right here, okay? And that's all. That's the first 3 examples, okay? So now I'm going to slide over to the sideboard. So I'm going to give y'all like a quick 5 seconds if y'all want to screenshot this video so y'all can use these notes. All right, cool. Sideboard. Let me turn the light on real quick. So here we have 3 more examples. Perfect. And y'all can see that we're going to go left to right. So on this blue graph right here, the first thing I'm asking you is what is the type of slope? So again, is it positive, negative, 0, undefined, right? Just by looking at this, remember we said we go left to right. So from left to right, if I come this way, my graph is going down, okay? It's decreasing. So that means this slope is negative. Okay, so that means the slope for this graph is going to be like -5, -7, -1/2, right? The slope for this graph is going to be some kind of negative number. Okay, so that's the first part. That's all we're doing for that one. Next, if y'all look at the red and purple graph, these are the special cases. Again, right? I know I'm stressing these a lot, but that's because they will be on the test tomorrow. Okay, and you need to I don't want you to mix them up because they can be really easy if you know which one's which. Okay, so if we look at the red one, okay, I look at my red graph. It's a flat line going side to side. Okay, that is called horizontal. So if you have a flat line that goes left to right, it's horizontal. So if it's horizontal, remember we have 2 types of special cases, hoi or vux. If it's horizontal, that means this is a hoi. Okay, that's what the H stands for. The H stands for horizontal. Okay. Now, the O, remember it's not really an O, right? This middle letter tells me about the slope. So it's not really an O, it's really a 0, which tells me the slope about this graph. Okay. So that means that the slope of this graph is 0, okay? Because it's a hoi, because it's horizontal, okay? So that's the O. And again, the Y tells me about the equation, okay? So since I have a Y here, that tells me my equation is going to be Y equals some number, right? And to find that number, I look at my Y-intercept, and that is 3. So my equation for this line is y equals 3. That's it. You're done. Okay. The next one, y'all can guess what this one's going to be, right? This is a purple line that's going up and down. Up and down means it's going vertical, which means it's a vux. So vertical lines are a vux. That's what the V tells me. Okay. Again, the middle letter tells me about the slope. My middle letter is U. U tells me that the slope of this vertical line is undefined. Okay, this is an undefined slope because it's vertical. So that's the U. The X, the last letter, again, tells me about the equation. So since it's an X, that means my equation is X equals some number, right? And since it's X, we're going to look for our X-intercept, which is 2. So I get X equals 2. Okay, so that's it. That's the special cases, hoi and vux, okay? So these can be really easy, but you just need to make sure you know which is which, okay? So horizontal lines, those are hois, and then use the letters, okay? Vertical lines are vuxes, okay? So you just need to make sure you know which is which, and then from there, it's easy. right? Getting the slope and equation is easy once you know if it's a Hoy or a Vux, okay? So I'll give you like 5 seconds to take a screenshot of that. All right, cool. And that's about it. So if y'all have any questions, y'all can email me. I'll email y'all back later. And then, so for today, just remember, make sure you do the review part 1, because like I said, that one's more important. Also do review part 2, okay? They'll both help you out, right? So make sure you do both. And then tomorrow, remember, Zoom is at 12:30. 12:30, I will give you y'all's cheat sheet for the test, and I will go over any last second things I may have forgotten, okay? But other than that, y'all have a great day. Again, I'm sorry for not being there, but I will see y'all tomorrow.